Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to introduce our first speaker to you today. Joining us is Sifu Boggie. Sifu Boggie, also known as Paul Brighton, is a DragonDog Shaman, a guide of QiGong, Tai Chi, Dragon QiGong, and Shun Qi Shen. At the age of 12, young Paul learned from two Chinese brothers who were monks trained in the Daoist and Shaman Arts, and he has continued his studies for the last 37 years. Sifu Boggie's beaming energy and ability to bring joy and humor to every situation has given him the nickname the Spiritual Jim Carrey, and you'll see why in just a few moments. He is a true jack of all trades with experience as a former chef, figure skater, hockey player, massage healer, and so much more. His philosophy is that everything you learn enhances everything else you do, and he brings his unique set of experiences and talents into his teachings as a guide and mentor. His mission is to help us heal and to encourage us to remember how to play and find joy in life as we once did as children. And here's something that I really love. Sifu Boggie teaches that Qigong means energizing exercise, which generates energy for the mind, body, and consciousness. But he famously describes Qigong as having a large library of awesome apps, where there is an app for everything, including each particular ailment we may have. Have a bad back? There's a Qigong app for that. Need help with your golf swing? Broken heart? Feeling stressed? Tired? Can't sleep? Sifu Boggie has a Qigong app for that too. He enjoys spending his days as a wandering Daoist, traveling and helping whoever crosses his path. He records and shares his adventures on YouTube for prosperity and for all to watch and learn. Today, he will share with us how we can upgrade our energy and elevate our consciousness by using simple breathing techniques and our imaginations to help us improve our health, well-being, increase our mental abilities, balance our emotional minds, and expand perceptions of energy and even reality itself. Please join me in welcoming Sifu Boggie. We are so honored to have you with us here today.
Hi, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. What time is it for you? You're overseas, right?
Yeah, I'm UK, so it's 4 o'clock. It's 4
o'clock for you. All right. Well, good afternoon for you. And
we've got my dragon smoking, so we've got the mist. So we've got the old sacred wandering Daoist mist forming here. So it's all good, brother.
We love it. Thank you so much. Take it away, Sifu.
Okay, no worries. Well, hello all. As we said, my name is Paul Brighton, but everybody knows me as Sifu Boggie. Sifu means guide, means somebody who points you along the way, who guides you on your path. Boggie is one of my second martial art name, and it means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. And my goal, what I do with my 38 actually now, it was 37 last year when I wrote that, but it's 38 now. 38 years of different techniques is I help the individual find their own personal balance, help them supercharge themselves and ensure they never burn out. And one of my proofs for that is that actually with my own personal techniques, one of the many skills I do is massage. I do tikta, which is Chinese osteopath or chiropractor, as well as tweener, which is massage and acupressure. And I've done 18 hours. I've last year, haven't done it this year because of the wonderful COVID, but last year I would normally in the past would go camping and I do 18 hours of massage non-stop. And people would always say, oh, Boggie, you on drugs? You're always bouncing all over the place. So don't need drugs. I've never needed drugs. The techniques I use give me abundance of chi. And I think this whole thing of this 5D reality, gosh, we're smoking. It's going to be like smog in here in a minute. The whole point of this 5D reality is very much to find that unlimited energy to really boost you up. So, as my Sifus would say, less talk, more do. I don't need this. I'm going to plug this out. Any questions, you can always put them on. I'm actually on the Facebook one. So if you're on Facebook, just any questions you have. But what I want to do is, if you can, stand up. You don't need much space. What I'm going to do, literally, you need just put your arms out. I'm actually going to move that because that is really smoking like a good. I'm going to put that over there. Out the way. So we're going to do a very simple exercise. This is the first exercise I ever learnt, and it's called Twist the Waist or Willow Tree QiGong. Willow Tree QiGong is its original poetic name, because a lot of Daoist names are very poetic, are very flowery. Twist the Waist, it's more description name. So what I want you to do now, if best, stand up. And you know, you don't need too much space, enough to swing your hands. That's all you really need. Put your feet shoulder width stance, feet flat on the floor, the ball of the foot, the outer side of the foot, and the heel of the foot pushing into the ground, but relax your toes. Bend the knees, pulling your bum. This is going to be a little bit important later on, especially if you're a healer or coach, or you know, you do massage or light working. These techniques are very important. In fact, this technique is one of the reasons why I can do 18 hours a day of massage in the past. So feet flat on the floor, ball of the foot, outer side of the foot and heel of the foot. Pretend this is your foot, ball of the foot, outside of the foot, and heel of the foot into the ground. Relax your toes. Bend the knees slightly, pull in the bum. Then turn the waist to the left, turn the waist to the right, turn the waist to the left, turn the waist to the right. Allow the arms to totally relax, to flop. And basically, that's it. So keeping your belly button in line, keeping your nose in line with your belly button, turning from left to right, allow the arms to totally flop. Now, health-wise, so massaging the waist, massages internal organs. Now, as a kid, well, as a young man, I did baking for over 13 years, and I became allergic to yeast. So I got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And one of the best things that would help me with that was this exercise. So this exercise very, very much to dampen that. Now, I've had students that have had chronic pain, fibromyalgia, MS, for over, between 10, one was over 10 years, one was 30 years. And this and a couple of other exercises, within a few weeks, literally a few weeks, they reduced their chronic pain massively. And over the last 38 years, last 36 years of teaching, I have definitely helped many, many people with ME, MS, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, migraines, lower back problems, sciatica problems, arthritis. The list is quite long. And again, as the wonderful Doc said, there is Qigong are like apps, and there is a Qigong for everything. Now, each Qigong and in the 5D reality, as far as I'm concerned, everything is mind, body, spirit. Now, spirit we get, a little bit, confused about or a bit worried about. The spirit is consciousness. Spirit is the higher energies, the higher dimensions. So everything is mind, body, spirit. So every Qigong has a physical side, an emotional side, and a spiritual side. So the physical side is this. You're doing this and it's massaging your internal organs. It will help relieve tension in your back. It improves blood circulation in neck, arms, shoulders, back, also in head, and so on and so forth. Now the emotional side, because in the ancient Daoist knowledge, emotions are your thoughts are your feelings, or your emotions are your feelings. So your mind is your emotions rather than your thoughts. So the mind, emotions, twisting the body, this actually starts to release tension. This starts to release emotional traumas or upsets in your daily stuff. If you do this every single day, it will release. those emotional traumas in your body. Now, QiGong is energizing exercise, so that's like level 1. Level 2 is Neigong, which is like Daoist yoga. And Neigong and yoga, they release emotional tension. So when you're stretching and moving your body, the reason you feel better is because you're literally releasing the toxins from the tendons and from the body itself. You're releasing and letting go of that emotional stagnation that's building up in your body. Now, as I said, I'm a DragonDog Shaman. That's one side of Taoism. Tao means the way, the path, the balance. And the DragonDog Shaman are very much about energy. Everything, they're almost like quantum physicists. Everything is energy, and they know how to make energy work. The other style of Taoist I am is called a barefoot doctor. Now, barefoot doctors are quite spiritually scientific. They work through things in a different way, you know, they're very mechanical, where the DragonDog Shaman are far more, they just go with the flow. They go where the energy goes. Now, both of them say a very important thing. The reason you're ill is because your chi isn't moving. So the less you move, the less you do things to get your body active, the more you physically become stagnant, you emotionally become stagnant, and you spiritually become stagnant. So it affects the mind, the body, and the spirit. And the one last thing with this exercise is, imagine, so your bottom half of your body is rooting in the ground. Imagine yourself like a willow tree. This is firm and solid, and whatever comes across to you, whatever hassles, whatever problems, as they hit you, they just brush past your body. Because you're not holding in the energy, you're not holding tension. So you're not forcing this move, and you're not forcing reality. You're not trying to control the reality, you're going with the flow. So we've been doing this for almost 5 minutes now. So we'll ease this off in another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's stop the waist and turning. Allow the arms to flop to the stop. Now, if you're on a stool or a seat, you can, you know, you've got to watch the arms of the chair, but you can sort of do this exercise. You just do it in a slightly different way. You just wiggle a little bit less, and you just let the arms flop. Because I have actually taught this to residential people. My oldest student was 96, and they always maintained, they died at 106 years old, and they maintained that they got that extra 10 years from QiGong. So it doesn't matter how old you are. There are QiGongs for if you're stuck in bed. There are QiGongs for if you are seated bound. There are QiGongs if you're a fairy. Well, there are actually. But anyway, that's another thing. There's a QiGong for everyone and everything. So let's have a quick look just to see if there are anything so far. No, awesome. Okay, so like I say, Willow Tree QiGong, it's at least, as far as the records say, this exercise is at least 3,000 or 4,000 years old. There are pictures of it being done back in ancient China. So, sit down very quickly. So, that exercise is one of the exercises that I would do. If I was doing that 18-hour stint of massage, that's one of the exercises that I would do. Now, again, with QiGong, everything is mind, body, spirit. And this whole thing of the 5D consciousness, you have to see things in a bigger picture. You have to allow yourself to expand and grow. In our society now, we sort of see restrictions. We see limitations. You know, I'm 50. I'm 50 years old. As like I say, I've been doing this for 38 years. I'm 50 years old. And when I started this, and when my teachers very much believed everything you learn enhances everything else you do. That's a Shaolin mindset. That's a samurai mindset. And it's a Daoist mindset. This belief that everything you learn enhances everything you do. And it was quite funny. When I was at school, dyslexia hadn't been discovered yet. And eventually, I was 38 when I discovered, I officially discovered that I was dyslexic, even though I pretty much guessed it, but I didn't actually do the test until I was 38 years old. And I have found for me, on that side, is that the Qigong definitely helps my mindset. But I don't see things like dyslexia as an illness or an ailment or a curse. Dyslexia has allowed me to see outside the box. It's allowed me to see in a different perspective, a different point of view. And ironically, Taoism's the same thing, is that Taoism is very much about expanding your awareness, your consciousness. And even within science, it says that there are reports that our consciousness appears to be outside the physical body rather than being inside the body. So it appears to control us, like our consciousness, our own consciousness controls this body like a little bit like a puppet, and we are actually almost controlled remote controlling. So this idea that our true consciousness is actually formless and is just energy allows you to see things in a different way. So remember, everything you learn enhances everything else you do. So you're never too old to learn something new. You're never too old to do what you want to do. You can always find a way to get it done, whatever it is. Now, for me, Qigong, Neigong, and Shengong are three staples of my daily existence. Qigong is an exercise that gives you more energy than you had to begin with. I normally say just energizing exercise, but the truth is that Qigong is an exercise that gives you more energy than you had to begin with. Neigong is basically Daoist yoga. It's a stretching exercise. When you stretch the tendons, you release the toxins from the tendons and from the body, and that releases emotional trauma. So it's not just in psychology, which I've studied in psychology. They see it very much as an etheric thing. It's in the mind, well, it's in the thoughts. But in the East, they see it as in your motion. Those thoughts become emotions and they affect your physical body. So they see it that it's not just something you have to think about and re-evaluate like in philosophy or life coaching, but you need to actually do something physically. You need to stretch the body as well to allow this stuff to come out, because it's more than just a physical thing. It's more than just an emotional thing. It's more than just a spiritual thing or a conscious thing. It's all of the above. So there's Willow Qigong. There is another exercise I'll show in a minute, but I wanted to do this other technique. So Shengong simply means Taoist meditation. Now, all three of them, the trick is in Taoism that all three are actually intertwined. Because, like, think of if you're reading a book that you really like, or you're sewing, you're actually doing a meditation. You know, you focus on that one thing and you forget everything else. So meditate, and if you drive like you're supposed to drive, you know, focus on driving, looking for the mirrors, you know, checking. That's a meditation. You're focusing on one thing, forgetting everything else. So meditation, you can turn anything into a meditation. You can turn washing the dishes into a meditation. You can turn brushing your hair into a meditation. It's not just sitting there going om. That's a version, but it's not the only version. Then Neigong, Daoist yoga, well, stretching, it's about when you stretch with your breath, you do it in a dynamic way and you stretch and contract, you flow that energy, you release toxins, and you allow, you know, new stuff to come in. Just watch your cats or your dogs or your animals. What the first thing they do when they wake up? They stretch. Then you'll watch a cat and a dog, and at some point in the day, they'll sit there staring into space. And then also at some point in the day, they'll run around like a lunatic, whether they're 2 or 102. So nature naturally does Shengong, Taoist meditation, Neigong, Taoist yoga, and Qigong, Taoist exercise or energy exercise. And you can actually put all three in one. Twist the waist, Willow Qigong is a version because you're stretching your tendons to a degree. You can just breathe and go into a meditation, and it will give you more energy. When you get it right, it'll give you more energy than you did to begin with. So, you know, it's this idea of when we start seeing, rather than seeing things separately, when you start putting them together, you can make anything into something that will help mind, body, and spirit. When we focus just on meditation, you just sit there going on. In the Shaolin, in the Zen, is that they say, oh, you know, if you're aching, you're not gaining enough chi. You need more chi. So you know, if you sit there and you're all achy, you're doing something wrong. You shouldn't be sitting there meditating and getting achy. You should feel more refreshed. If you're doing exercise, true QiGong exercise, you end up with more energy than you started with. That's the point. And the stretching as well. When you stretch, it shouldn't actually you know, make you feel more grumpy, or it shouldn't actually tire you out. It should actually give you energy. So there's this idea of, rather than separating things, when we find a way to balance them, when we find a way to connect them all together, you increase the idea, increase the concept. So this simple meditation, Shen Gong, that I'm going to teach. So I don't quite move it for you. You actually can't see. What I always do, if you ever see me wobbling about, is because I've got a balance ball sitting on a yoga ball. That's the way I roll, quite literally. So, if you can, I want you for this part of the set, just want you to sit legs 45 degrees outwards, okay? Feet flat on the floor, ball of the foot, outer side of the foot and heel of the foot pushing into the ground, toes nice and relaxed. Your hands on your lap with the elbows pointing outwards. This keeps the armpits open, allows blood flow, circulation. Try to keep your back straight if you can. Tuck your chin in so your top of the head is pointing straight up, and pull your bum in if you can as well. Now, I'm on a yoga ball, so I can bounce about, I can have a little bit of fun, and the whole idea is that I can keep that energy flowing. But this exercise is about drawing in more energy, but realizing when we think of energy, most people think of some sort of container. So, oh, my container can only gain that much energy. You know, my energy's running out because my container's running out. In the Daoist concept, is everything you do should be gaining you more energy. And if you are actually formless, shapeless, you are pure consciousness, and your consciousness is actually on the outside, if the science is correct, and consciousness is on the outside, not on the inside, then you can have unlimited energy. You have unlimited possibility. Now, remember, there's a guy called Nissan Herriman, a physicist, and he says that a cup full of space, so space out there, a cup full of space, there is enough energy in that cup full of space to evaporate all the oceans on Earth. Well, how many cups are in you? It doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are, there's more than one cupful of stuff inside you, more than one cupful of space, of atoms. So you have unlimited potential of energy. And then there's two great doctors called Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, which ironically for the last 10, 15 years have been talking about epigenetics, and that the emotional mind can actually heal the body, that how we think and feel affects our physical health. And it's ironic that this year a lot of people are living in fear, and fear actually deteriorates your body, reduces your energy, and actually weakens your immune system. And so it's really interesting how that there's this knowledge out there that actually the more positive you are, the more happy you are, you actually increase your energy and increase your ability. And yet we're in a part of our society at this moment in time is in this place where we're living in fear and running around like headless chickens. So this idea of building up energy, this idea of there is no limit, you start to remember what you believe is true for you. The placebo effect, which is science, which is fact, is that a sugar tablet is, that somebody takes a sugar tablet, they think it's the real thing, and that makes them better. There are actually what a lot of people don't realize, with cancer in chemotherapy, there's actually placebo chemotherapy machines that just make the noise. There's no radiation, they just make the noise, but the person still gets the effects of having chemotherapy because they believe it's real. So the placebo effect, it found out that over 2/3 of people who have placebos that believe that it's the real thing get better, from a small percentage to I don't like the word cured, but totally rejuvenate themselves to at least to a degree. Now, what most people don't realize is a thing called nocebo, which is if you believe that you can't get better, if you believe that you're old, that aches and pains are normal, if you believe that you are just deteriorating and you've got no chance of getting better, 60% of people, 2/3 of people who believe in that scenario will actually get worse. And that's called the nocebo effect. And that science is there as part of epigenetics. That science is there. Now, it's not publicly known. Why? Well, that's interesting. That's another time. That's a question for another time. But the power of belief is not woo-woo. It's not religious. The power of belief is a real scientific thing. It's been proven. And even in science, there's a camera that's actually found what's called the bioelectric magnetic field that's in the heart. And when you get happy, that field expands. And as it expands, everything inside that field starts to rejuvenate, starts to get stronger. But when you're scared and frightened or anxious or worried, that field shrinks. And as it shrinks, everything goes into fight or flight mode rather than thriving mode. So it goes into surviving rather than thriving. So understanding how the body works. Your body's not just a physical thing. It's not just an emotional thing. It's not just a conscious or spiritual thing. It's all three. All three. Consciousness, energy relies on your emotions, your moods. Your body, the emotion and moods will affect your physical body. Your physical body will affect your moods. Your physical body will affect your consciousness, your energy. Everything is interconnected. So this simple breathing technique. Hands on your lap, elbows pointing outwards, tucking your chin, legs 45 degrees outwards, ball of the foot outside the foot, heel of the foot pushing into the ground. I simply want you to breathe in until you can't breathe in anymore, and then breathe out until you can't breathe out anymore. No holding breath, no plugging your ears, no lifting up rocks. That's next week's lesson. Just simply breathe in until you can't breathe in anymore, then breathe out. Now I'm going to add a couple of things to it, but let's just get that one first. Breathe in until you can't breathe in anymore, then breathe out until you can't breathe out anymore. Then breathe back in again. And go at your own pace, your own style. If this is too fast or too slow, you go at your own pace. Now, as you're breathing in, let your belly expand. This is called belly breathing. It's a technique, belly breathing technique. So just simply let your belly expand. And as you breathe out, gently pull your belly back in. So you're actually, you're not just letting relaxing the muscles, you're tensing them slightly as well. So as you breathe out, pull the belly in. As you breathe in, let the belly go out. Now, as you let the belly go out, you actually pull the diaphragm down into the stomach. So the diaphragm gets pushed. That as the belly goes out, it gets pushed downwards, which allows you to draw in lots of air, lots of qi, lots of vitality. Now, as you breathe out, you pull the belly in, you're actually letting all that air out. So qi in. So as you breathe in, qi is vitality, everything you do want. And as you breathe out, cha out. Cha is stress, worry, tension, everything you no longer need. So the Daoist principle again is don't focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you want. So don't worry about, when you worry about things, you're focusing on them. So breathe out. the stress and the worry and the tension and focus on just drawing in more energy. So Qi in, Cha out. Qi in, Cha out. So as you breathe in, let your belly expand. And as you breathe out, gently pull your belly in. So breathe in, so you can't breathe in anymore. And then just like a wave, let that sink. Breathe out, and she can't breathe out anymore. And just like a wave rising in, breathe back in. So breathe in, then you breathe out. Then breathe in, then breathe out. And just allow yourself to breathe in that Qi and breathe out that Cha. Breathe the Qi in, feel that energy grow. Breathe out that Cha, feel that energy glow. So as you breathe in, the energy gets bigger and bigger, and it goes past your body, and it goes past the room you're in, and past the house, and past your county or state, and past your country, and past the planet, and it just keeps going, baby. Just keep breathing. As you breathe in, that energy ball just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you breathe out, that energy ball gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So breathing in the Qi, breathing out the Cha. Breathing in the Qi, let it grow. Breathing out the Cha, let that energy ball glow. So as you breathe in, you feel it expand more and more. And just, if you can see it, awesome. If you can't see it, just think, oh, it's out there somewhere. Just keep going. And as you breathe out, it keeps glowing. So breathing in the Qi, breathing out the Cha. 4, another 11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. So just feel that energy just keeps growing as you breathe in and keeps glowing as you breathe out. It just keeps going. There's no stopping. There's no limit to your energy, the amount of energy you can have. There's no limit to how big your consciousness can be. You can step back. The more you step back, the more you perceive. This is what Einstein said, this is what Nikola Tesla would say, is that the understanding of you step back and you look at things from a different perspective. You never solve issues from the problems that created them. You have to look out. You have to look bigger. You have to look in a different way. So breathe in that Qi and breathe out that Cha. And guess what? You're actually meant to breathe all the time. So you can do this all the time. And just every now and again, think, breathing in the Qi, breathing out the Cha. Breathing in, let it grow. Breathing it out, let it glow. The brighter your energy is, the more that you're allowing that positivity in, the more that like attracts like. Light attracts light. Like attracts like. You're drawing that energy in. You're allowing different concepts, new ideas to come in. In actual fact, when I, back in the 90s, for FT 100 and 500 index businesses, I would actually sit in the corner just doing this, breathing in Qi, breathing out Cha. And I'd be called what's called an energy enhancer or a charger. And I'm simply there to just allow people to open up their inspiration. I was sort of like a muse, just sitting there in certain businesses and giving them new ideas and allowing them to sort out problems. And that's what I was from my teachers that were trained me to do, and that's what exists. They still exist out now. They're called Muse, a Muse channel or Muse account, a Muse not accountant, but as a form of Muse or something. But originally they were called chargers, and the whole idea is you just build. They would sit in a room, lifting up that room. You've heard it plenty of times. People say when that person comes in the room, oh, you know, the room lights up. It's the same concept. You're building up that energy. So just breathing in that chi, breathing out that cha. So we'll go back. We'll have a quick look at that first exercise I taught you. So you can do it seated, remember, just turn gently, you know. Don't want your arms too floppy if you've got arms of a chair, but if you're on a stool or a yoga ball, you can just turn away. So this exercise will loosen up the body, allow that energy to flow. It massages the internal organs, it massages the spine. So it's very simple, shoulder width stance, feet straight ahead or 45 degrees outwards, whichever's more comfortable for you. Ball of the foot, outside of the foot, head of the foot pushing in the ground, but let your toes wiggle. Bend the knees, pull in the bum. Turn the waist to the left and the right, left and the right. Allow the arms to totally flop. When you control the arms, you're trying to control reality. When you let the arms flow, as things come in, you'll find ways around them. It's about adapting. It's a metaphor. This QiGong is a metaphor. So it's very simple, very easy. It has done case studies in China especially, and they have found that 5 minutes of this every single day has reduced general aches and pains by at least 50% within 6 weeks. And there are other qigongs that will help as well, but just doing 5 minutes of this every single day will help. There is a set of exercises that I can show you for 15 minutes every day, and it will help you physically, emotionally, and mentally. As I said, I've had students with fibromyalgia, with chronic pain, with IBS, with lots of different things, and within a few weeks they were dramatically helped by the different qigongs I taught. I have had many students with autism, with dyspraxia, with dyslexia, and this allows us to see more clearly. It takes away some of that fog that sometimes dyslexics, dyspraxics get. And with the autism, you know, where things are very very narrow, it actually allows them to open up a little bit more with QiGong. So that other exercise that I'm going to show very quickly, I've got about 10 minutes left. So rub the hands together. I move, you stay where you are. If you're seated, you can do this seated just about. So rub your hands together. Place your rubbed hands on the smalls of the back. Breathe in. Chi in. Breathe out. Cha out. Rub the hands. Breathe in. Chi in. Cha out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then quite simply, what you're going to do is you're going to circle your waist. I move, you don't, you stay where you are. Circle your waist, big circle. So this is the big circle, circling your waist around. And then you circle your hips, which is the little circle, which means as you go back, stick your bum out. And as you go forward, pull your bum in. So stick your bum out, pull your bum in as you go forward. Stick your bum out as you go back, pull your bum in. Now, this exercise, so you're opening and closing the hips, the quad. Try to keep your head still as possible. And you're opening and closing the hips. This is very good for lower back pain. This is good for sciatic issues, sciatic nerve. It's good for strengthening knees and legs. It's good for ladies, for menstrual cycle issues. It can help with that as well. And also helps strengthen the kidneys, just as it allows you to get rid of the toxins better from the body. So it's really simple. Another simple exercise, circling around, stick the bum out, pull the bum in. Stick the bum out, pull the bum in. But the key is, apart from having the feet flat, bending the knees, circle the bum in and out, the key is to do the same on both sides. And do another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then circle back the other way. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. And as I say, try to keep the head still. Don't move it back and forth. When I was a kid, my teachers actually had a bucket, a metal bucket on the string, and they would put your head in the bucket, and they would know that if you're moving your head, because the head would go bong, bong, bong as you hit the bucket. So the whole idea is to try to keep the top half of the body as still as possible while you're moving the hips. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then come back to the center. Shake the arms, shake the legs. Okay. So quite simple, quite basic. So the idea, I mean, like I said at the beginning, or Doc said, there is a Qigong quite simply for everything. There's a Qigong for every simple situation. And the whole idea is letting, in Taoism, it's about balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine, which are qualities. They're not sexes, they're actually qualities. Divine masculine is asserting yourself, getting things done, being the warrior. The divine feminine is the protector, as in setting things up, being the nurturer, being building things up, keeping things going. So the yang energy tends to start something or set it up, and then the yin energy tends to nurture it, tends to keep it going. So this thing of divine masculine, divine feminine, they're qualities that should be in us. You should have both feminine and masculine qualities. And this is what's happened in the old realm, the old way, 4D, is that we were conflict with that. Or you say, oh no, I'm just this, or oh no, I'm just that. In this 5D, you need to balance. You need to balance the physical, the emotional, and the consciousness or spiritual, and you need to balance the masculine and feminine. And when you balance it, you create what's called, actually no, let's use my favorite one, let's use the purple one. You called the light. There is a light that runs straight down the middle of the body. Now George Lucas, the word Jedi comes from an Egyptian word, Jedi, which means pillar of light. The keepers of the pillar of light. And the light was the information, the knowledge. In Christianity, we talk about the light. You talk about drawing in the light, the keepers of the light. But that word, the keepers of the light, were the Jedi. They drawed in this information, this knowledge. And this light is from the top of the head, goes all the way down the body. So you heard, we can't quite see it, it's out of camera, but you've got the chakras and the kundalini, which is the fire energy. Now that comes from in between the legs, up the spine, up to the head and into the heaven. This light energy comes down from heaven through the body, straight through in between the legs and down into the earth. And this would be seen as the water. The fire energy is the fire. So you've got the fire and the water. When you balance them together, you create balance, you create Tai Chi, which is the yin and yang symbol. I can't move the camera without killing. I don't have a spare yin. Oh, well, I've got a very tiny one here, which is one of my instincts. But a lot of people call this yin yang. That symbol is actually called Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the balance of the feminine and the masculine, the balance of the left and the right side of the body, the balance of the thoughts all the way to the emotions, all the way to the physical body, the balance of the light and the fire. So balancing is the Tao, the way, finding your personal way, your personal Tao. Okay, so let's have a quick look to see if there has been anybody got any
posted
questions?
One on the screen there for you. I posted one on the screen there for you.
I can hear you now.
Oh, I posted one on the screen there for you. Take a look.
Okay, cool. Okay, right, so I usually close my eyes doing this stuff. When I peeked, you were doing something with your hands. What is that? Right, okay. So, in QiGong, so QiGong is an app. So QiGong is an app, an application. And in apps, you have uploads or downloads. You get updates. So you have your QiGong, you have your app on your phone, and it has an update, and it could give it new information to boost it up. Now, in Reiki, people who know Reiki, they've heard of attunements or empowerments. In Japanese, it's called Reiju. But what they don't know, in Japan and in China, the Shun Qi Shen version in China, they do Qigongs to build up the Reiki. So just like a Jedi Knight has to, learn how to use the lightsaber and build up the force, in Reiki, they do Qigongs to build up the energy. Well, the same is the other way around. In Qigong, you have these shundaos or empowerments or Qi blasts, which is the name we've given it. And that is like a spiritual update. So what's meant to happen, whether you do Tai Chi or Bakwa or Shundao or any Qigong, because Qigong just is like grandfather. Tai Chi or Qigong is like Luke Skywalker, and Tai Chi is like, Qigong is like Yoda, and Tai Chi is like Luke Skywalker. So Qigong is like the grandfather of all these different exercises. And whichever ones of these you do, they all are meant to have shundaos. So that, what I was doing is firing energy, sending energy out, like I send you my love, I'm sending you my energy. It's a way of firing that energy out to that person. So it's a spiritual update for the exercise, whether it's a Qigong, energizing exercise, Neigong, Daoist yoga, or Shengong, Daoist meditation. They all have spiritual updates. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Sifu. We are so grateful for everything you taught us this morning, this afternoon for you. And I was especially blown away when you mentioned that when we're stuck in our bodies, we become stuck in our lives and we're stuck in our energy. That was very profound. So thank you for that. And I love the way you describe these exercises like apps and the uploads and the downloads. It's such a unique perspective, and it's easy to visualize it when you explain it like that.
Well, it's our modern day life, isn't it? That's we see all these all the time, and it's just adapting the information to modern day words. And it's something that I was always really good at, being a chef, a baker, close protection officer, hockey player, figure skater. It's always, wherever you are, it's adapting the terminology to the place that you're at the time.
Yes, thank you. And I especially appreciate that you kicked off the day for us with a lot of movement. So we're all feeling energized and we're ready to go. So thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.